to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you had a good month of trading in February. If you're anything like mine was, you probably were down a little bit. We did have a really good January, but the February did sell off some. Mostly this all has to do with what the Fed is speaking about and inflation numbers and those kind of things. So the Fed got a little bit more hawkish as February went on, and so the market has been selling off a little bit. Uh, that's what's going to happen anytime these interest rates are spoken about and talked about continuing and those kind of things. The markets are going to sell off a little bit. So we're going to take a look at portfolio and see how we've done in the month of February and year to date, kind of get a grasp on things. We want to keep an eye on that year to date to see how it's holding up, because we did get a real good start and we want to make sure that continues for the year. So as long as that stays green for the year, that means we've had a green year. And so we don't look at it from week to week. We look at it, go back beginning of the year and see if we can, keep this year going in the right direction. Even though it's taking a breather here, that's okay. That's what the markets do. They don't go straight up. So let's take a look at our portfolio, talk about that. And so here's the portfolio. We are having a red day today, as you can see here. The market is down a little bit. The Dow's up. You can see here the Dow's up a little bit. NASDAQ's off just a hair, and the S&P's off a little bit. So hadn't been anything major. It's just kind of been bleeding its way down. No big drops to speak of. But and it's just kind of, floundering around. So we're going to look at that. This hut, we did sell this hut a while back at, I think it was 183. They're going to do a reverse split, about a 5 or 6 to 1. I forget what it was, but this one I'll be taking off. I'll be taking off the portfolio. We won't see that next time up. Novavax is gone. I finally took that off. It really got clobbered this week as well. Missed earnings once again, so glad we got out of that one. It's $8 and something, I think, maybe 9. But it's just been nowhere but down, and that's been their problem. They can't meet these earnings every time they predict them. So we sold out about 43 or somewhere, 43, 49, somewhere around there. I think it was 43. But glad we got out of that one for sure. All right, so let's take a look at QQQ. See if we can get a 1 month look at this chart here. Let's see if we can pull that up. QQQ 1 month chart here. You can see there is a downward trend there. I'm going to pull it up on my phone here. I'll give you some percentages here. For the last month, that is down 6.88%. If we go year to date, let's take a look at that year to date. And you can see we're still up year to date, up about 9% year to date. So far this year, the market's up QQQQ, which reflects the NASDAQ pretty much. And it's saying that we're year to date about 9%. Okay. So we'll take that. I mean, we're having a little bit of pullback. Nobody likes that, but that's the way it goes in the market. Again, markets don't go straight up. Let's just take a look at that, see how close it is tracking the NASDAQ. I'm going to put the NASDAQ chart up here. You can see that. The 1 month. You can see 1 month there, same looking chart, and then the year to date. We take a look at that year to date on NASDAQ itself. Year to date, we're looking at 8.3, so the QQQ is outperforming that just a little bit. On the month, it's down 7%. So the market's doing okay for the year. This last month has been rough. Now, March is often a pretty good month, so we're going to see how that goes. It's all going to depend on what this Fed says, so that's about all we can do there. GBTC, which is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's the way to play that in the IRA, if you have an IRA or something like that. It's supposed to track the Bitcoin, all right? So, but it doesn't always track it right along line. So let's take a look at that. The 1 month chart on Bitcoin Trust here. Let me pull it up on the phone so we can quote you some percentages. 1 month, It's down 13%. Okay, now let's click the year to date. If you click the year to date on that, you see you do have an upward trend there, so it's still green for the year, and it is up 35.59% for the year. So that's a very good start to the year still, even though it did sell off a good bit in the months period of time there, but we're still up 35.59% for the year. Of course, it's way off of the highs, so we don't want to get too excited about that, but you know, sometimes you take a little step at a time, and that's what we're trying to do is have a green year. So ETH is another trust, but this is for Ethereum. If you wanted to play Ethereum in your IRAs, you can do it this way. 1 month on Ethereum. Let me pull that up, let you know what that is. Ethereum 1 month, we've got a down of 10.94%, so almost down 11%. Let's check that year-to-date chart. Year-to-date, you're still up 48.74%. So those two look pretty bad for the month, but if you go back, if you look from the beginning of the year, doing really, really good there, 49%. We'll take that all day long. So we've got a little room to play with those, so that's all good. That's all good. All right, so Amazon. Let's take a look at that one. Down today. For the month, let's take a look at that 1 month chart on the Amazon. You see a pretty good little downward trend on that one for sure. 1 month, it's off almost 20%, 19.63%. That's a pretty good little fall for the month. So year to date, though, you can see I think that's going to be up a little bit for year to date. So let me pull that up. Year to date on Amazon, yeah, you're up 8% for the year. Okay, so not too bad of a start for the year, 8% up. But boy, it had a rough month. Had a rough month for sure. February was not good for a lot of things. I mean, I don't think we've had any that really went up in February. Let's take a look at Google. Google, of course, when you go up like you did in January, you can expect a sell-off. That's just normal stuff there. You can't, go straight up, like I said. 1 month, similar trend there. We see a downward trend, 19.6, just about the same. And then let's go to year to date on that one. And that's going to be closer. It's going to be up, but it looks like it's going to be almost flat for year to date. Okay. No, it's actually up about 8%. So that's not too bad either. Not too bad either for the year. But the month sure was rough. Okay. And February wasn't good to anything, I don't think, that we hold. Maybe we got one in. No, I don't think it's on this portfolio. So, all right. So Tesla's having a rough day today. Let's talk about Tesla for a minute. You see here it's down 6% right now. It's been down as much as 7%. It's having a rough day. Yesterday, Tesla had its what I call it, Investor Day, and a lot of folks were expecting some information on this Gen 3 vehicle that they're going to be coming out with. It's a lot cheaper vehicle. They mentioned it a little bit. They gave a little tease on some of the slides. Vehicles that were kind of covered up in the picture, and so they didn't give any detail on it. Said that would come later, but they've got some vehicles that's coming. A robo-taxi, that's what they're planning down the road, as well as this model. I think they're calling it a Model 2 or something like that. It's going to be a smaller vehicle, about half the cost of what it costs to build one of their most popular cars right now. So, it'd be closer to the range of even cheaper than maybe a Toyota Corolla in that size there. That's what sells a lot in China. So they're probably going to be focusing on a smaller vehicle for the folks in China. And also that's just going to be a lot of some of the self-driving stuff that's going to be sold in these vehicles, especially the robo-taxi as well. So, but these are things that are down the road, but they had it was really technical, the Investor Day. The presentations were a bunch of engineers showing how they do things different at Tesla, how they've improved things and cut cost without cutting quality. Matter of fact, quality's gone up and costs are going down at Tesla, and they're able to crank out these vehicles faster and faster. But there's a lot. It was more focused on, just turning the world to this green energy and getting away from fossil fuels and things like that, and not destroying economies or anything like that. It's all going to be better for the economy and things like that. What they was talking about, it's really, really good presentation to me. Very boring if you can't hang with stuff like that, but I really enjoyed some of it because it's just it's showing a bunch of improvements and how they redid their manufacturing that's been done for hundreds of years since Ford, and it was very interesting to me. So it's about 3 hours long, so there's a lot to it, but just an awesome presentation to me. But it was, it could be very boring if you're not into that kind of stuff, and so maybe you want to get the highlights of it. But the highlight is Tesla is more than a car company. If you think it's just a car company, you're sadly mistaken. So don't compare Tesla to these other car companies. That's not what Tesla is. Tesla is a energy producing, energy storing, you name it. They do it all. They're also got robots they're working on, which even Elon said yesterday is going to be bigger than the vehicle far as Tesla goes. But they have solar panels. They have these battery units, these huge battery units that store all kinds of power, and they have a plan. They have a plan to eliminate the need for fossil fuel, and they laid it out pretty good yesterday. I don't know why our government can't take hold of something like that. Why the green folks that want to destroy our economy wouldn't look at that plan and just be all aboard. I think it would work out for everybody if everybody would focus on that plan that they had yesterday. But we'll see how that goes. But I'm comfortable putting money into Tesla. Matter of fact, I bought some yesterday. May buy some more today before the day's over with. Just waiting to see if it's going to settle there. Maybe wait till tomorrow. But I'm comfortable with Tesla as far as an investment goes for the future. I believe it's going to be something that you'll be glad you put money in. Of course, I'm not giving any kind of financial advice. I'm talking about myself, where I want to put my money. So that's going to be one place I'm focusing on. That is one place I'm focusing on right now. Okay, so Tesla's had a rough day for sure, and so let's take a look at that. The month's probably been pretty bad too. So let's go ahead and take a look at the month. Well, it doesn't look that terrible just looking at that chart. Let me pull up some numbers here, and let's see how it's done for the month. Well, it's actually, Tesla's still up for the month, even after this beating today, up 1% for the month. So if you do that every month, you're up 12% at the end of the year. Okay, so even after today's beating of getting knocked down, I mean, they would have been up 7% if it weren't for today's beating. So they've been good this year. Let's look at the year to date. They've done a tremendous job on the year to date. Yeah, they're still up 54% for the year. So if you put money in this last December, end of December, when everybody was selling for tax losses, you're doing pretty good on your Tesla. I had it before then, but I've been adding to it for a while now. So this is one I'm starting to accumulate in. This is the one I really have got good feelings about, trusting in them. It's not going to go straight up, but this is a pretty good start to the year. When you're still, after these beatings of February that it's had, you're still up 54%. So I'll take that. It's heading in the right directions for the year. So year to date, we're still looking good on our portfolio for the year. I mean, we're off of where we were. I mean, we went pretty straight up at the beginning of the year in January, and it's coming down a little bit, and that's what happens. So CLSD I hadn't been paying a lot of attention to this. I don't have much of it. But let's take a look at the month chart. You can see there's a downward trend there on the CLSD. Let me go there. This is Clearside Biomedical. So we've got a little bit of biomedical in our portfolio. That's one of the things that, when they get hot, they get hot. But for the month, this thing is down 20%. So it's dropped off a pretty good bit this month. Year to date, let's take a look at that. It looks like it may be still green. Yeah, it's still green a little bit. Up 6% so far for the year. So that's not terrible. As long as it stays above that dollar mark too, that's one thing that we want to make sure it doesn't get delisted. Next thing you got to worry about is when you got them this low that they do reverse splits or dilute the shares by adding more stocks to the load there. So if they come out and sell more stock, you could dilute it that way. You could do a reverse split. I hadn't really looked at their financials lately, but those biomeds will do that to you. So we're just hanging on to it since we don't have very much of it. Not really too worried about it. If it goes under, it goes under. I don't have a lot of it, like I said. So not one I'm too worried about. Okay, here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we do have some Bitcoin. So I keep an eye on that because mainly I want to compare that. Some of those other ones like Bitcoin Trust, those kind of things. The chart comes up a little bit different on this one. Let me just pull this up and see if we can get it a good view of the chart here. Here's the 1 month chart. There's your 1 month chart there, and it's actually got a comparison to the Dow, to the different Dow and the S&P and NASDAQ there. So it's above all those, so you can see these lines here. So it's doing better than the markets, the three markets. Let's just take a look at some of this on the phone here to see what we got. Let's see. I don't know what the phone has. Maybe it's the phone that doesn't have the charts. Yeah, it's only got the 1 month chart. Doesn't have a year to date on this one, but we can get an idea of that. That's right now the 1 month is pretty flat. It's down actually 0.79%. So pretty flat for the month of February, and we had a really good January. So yeah, we're way up. I'd say we're pretty good ways up. Let me see if I can get that for us here. All right, so we're probably let's go back to December 31st. So December 31st, this thing was down to 16,547. So 16,500, let's call it. And so we're up from there. We're up over 7,000. So that's a pretty good little chunk there. I'd say we're still probably up about probably close to for 50%, I would guess, still for the year to date. So nothing wrong with that. It's going to be just like close to the Bitcoin Trust. So, but that's Bitcoin. I do have some Bitcoin in Coinbase. I keep in Coinbase. Should keep it on a hard drive or thumb drive or whatever they call those things, hard storage. But I don't trust myself to carry around a thumb drive that's got that much money on it. So, because if you lose that, I just don't trust that. I trust the exchanges more than that, more than myself. Unfortunately, but if it gets too big, maybe we'll try to figure that out one day and put it in a safe deposit box or something. But right now, I'm just going to have to trust the exchanges. Coinbase, I think, is pretty legitimate. It's not like the FTX that was offshore. Coinbase is onshore. It's under some regulation. So I'm not too concerned about it. But it could go belly up just like everything else. Tilray is, I don't think it's done a whole lot. Let's see here. The 1 month chart looks like it's down a pretty good way. So let me take a look at the Tilray. Is a cannabis stock. We bought it a while back, a long time ago, and we're way down on that one. So this is not going to be anything I'm going to worry a whole lot about other than selling it maybe. Probably not. Just probably hang on to it. 1 month it's down 18%, and if you go to year to date, it's up 1.86%. So still year to date, another one. Pretty much all of our stuff is still looking pretty good year to date. It's the it's the end of year. I mean the last month. It's looks pretty ugly for everything. Uh, and not all of them, but most everything's down a good bit for the month. So, and there's another chart. Looks very similar. This is Nikola. Nikola. They build hydrogen trucks, hydrogen powered trucks, electric trucks. I think they focus on hydrogen as well, hydrogen cells, things like that. So 1 month on that one. Let's take a look. 1 month we got a downward trend of 22%. Year to date we got actually down less than 2%. So this is the one that is down for the year to date, but it's only down 2% for year to date. So nothing terrible. But there's our portfolio for today. As you can see, it's just it's looking pretty nasty again. Uh, Tesla is getting beat up pretty bad. I was looking at Tesla because thinking about adding to that position today and trying to get some of these shares while it's down. But what I like to look is the volume. You can see the volume is 128 million compared to average volume is 177. So it's not like it's a crazy sell-off or anything like that. So as long as it stays within this number here, it's probably just, a day or so that we're going to see it get beat up. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow to see this thing green and close above 90 somewhere. If the market's, if the NASDAQ's green, that's a big question though. So it's going to kind of track markets, I would think. All right. So that's kind of where we're at on our portfolio. It's nothing to brag about for February, and it's still hanging in there for the first of the year. I hate to see it sell off like it has, but that's the way it goes. Uh, it's all again. It all's going to come down to this Fed. Any kind of talk about interest rates continuing. So we'd gotten to a point where a lot of folks thought we were going to have a couple more at the most, and they were going to be 0.25. And now they're talking about possibly a 0.50 on the next one, and then continued on for two or three more now. So that's that hawkish talk, and that's what happens. The Fed talks that stuff, every which way. They don't want this market going up crazy because that's going to give people a lot more money, and they're going to spend more money, and that's going to means they're going to be paying these high prices for everything, and that means inflation doesn't go down. Okay, and so the whole idea is to make it people feel like they're broke, okay, and they don't spend the money, but our employment is still so good as well. We only got like 3% unemployment, and they want that around 4 or 5. And that's crazy. They want people to be unemployed, but that's what they want. So people don't spend money. That's the whole idea. Um, but I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And uh, some of these inflation numbers that's come out in this past month have not been good, and so we'll have to see how they continue and see if that inflation is coming down anymore. So anyway, we'll see. Watch those numbers when they come out. Watch the Fed speak. All that kind of stuff. That's what's going to drive the month of March. March is a lot of times a pretty good month. March and April, of course, you all know May sell and go away and that kind of thing. That's something that's been talked about for years and years. But March and April, we need to have a couple of good months there, and then maybe we're heading in the right direction. And, but anyway, I'm gonna again. We're not gonna do these calls, these videos that often. We're probably gonna keep them to once a month, because just not a whole lot going on in between. Not doing a whole lot of trading, doing some buying, but doing very little trading. I did sell um, the QQQ that I was holding because it was getting close to back to even. I was up green on that, and it was getting close back to even, so I sold out of that because I wanted that, like cash. It was the same as cash to me, and so I wanted to sell that before it went under what I paid for it. And so I did make a little bit of money on that, not much, but it did not go under where I paid for it, so it did make a little bit. We might, I think I did buy back a little bit of that after it dipped a little bit. May keep adding to that a little bit again, so that can just build back up, and we'll see how that goes. But we're just playing it by ear. That's about all you can do. The markets are going to turn for good when the economy's better, inflation goes down, and the Fed stops messing with everything. And matter of fact, they not only do they not raise interest, but maybe at some point they start bringing it back down. Okay, so that's what we're hoping for before the end of the year. But I don't know that they'll get to where they're reducing interest rates before the end of the year. But we just definitely got to hope they got to stop raising them. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you in about a month. After the month of March, we'll get back on here and sometime in April and talk to you then. Thanks. Bye.